60s and into the 80s, there was a 16-year civil war here. And the Christians lost big time. They really got their asses kicked. Today, in Lebanon, there is no more than 15% Christians. They're gone. They live in America, they live in France, they live in Canada, they live in Australia. And the 15% are squeezed in and around the Beirut area. The south here are Shiites. And before the Hezbollah, this area was 50% Christian. Since the Hezbollah took over 14 years ago, there's only 3% Christians left. And recently, not too long ago, Allah came down and told the Hezbollah that he gets offended by their church bells. So the Christians are no longer allowed to ring their church bells, because that offends Allah. So the 3% that are left here, they just go ding dong on Sunday. You need to understand that this is all a religious war. The Muslims are on a roll, and Islam is not a religion of cooperation. It is not a religion of live and let live. You're either a Muslim or you're an infidel, and if you're an infidel, you don't have the right to live. Doesn't mean that every Muslim you know or meet is a terrorist, but that's the teaching. That is the teaching. Also, since the Crusades were a terrible time for the Muslims, for everybody around here, and a religious edict was established called the Waqf. W-A-K-F, it's an anagram, I don't know what the 4 words mean, I really don't care either. The concept is that wherever Muslims live, that is holy Muslim territory, and it belongs to international Islam. The result is that no non-Muslim can be sovereign in anywhere where the Muslims live. That means they will not accept Israel as a Jewish state because we're non-Muslims. They will not and have not accepted Lebanon as a Christian state because they're non-Muslims. There's no more Christians there. And they have been trying to get rid of us, and God willing, they never will succeed. They just keep banging their head on a stone wall, and one day maybe they'll learn. If not, we'll keep banging them. Doesn't make any difference. But understand that it has nothing to do with settlements, it has nothing to do with land, it has nothing to do with territory, it has to do with sovereignty. Jews have always lived in Muslim lands. We were here before there was Islam. Islam's only 1,500 years old. We got 4,000 years history. This is our place. And as long as we did not demand sovereignty, Jews lived in the Muslim world. There are large Jewish communities in Iraq and in Iran and in Syria and in Lebanon and in Egypt. Until we demanded sovereignty. As soon as we demanded sovereignty, that's war. And it's been that ever since. And that's the way it is. And so none of this talking and sitting around and doing deals is going to work. That's all bullshit. But then, of course, these diplomats have to in some way earn their salaries. So talking is better than shooting. Let them talk. Nothing's going to come of it. Nothing's going to come of it. Understand they don't want us here and we're not going. So what's there to talk about? Now, our kibbutz, as I said, was established in 1945.